Hi, if you can hear me, type loud and clear in the comment section below. If you can hear me, type loud and clear in the comment section below. Great. So we're going to be playing some card games later. I'll just wait a few more minutes for more people to come in, then we start. Hopefully my computer will not crash again like last time. Okay, just checking to see whether you all can see the cards or not, because we'll be using this deck of cards later. Oh wait, there's a joker. How's your home-based learning so far? Actually, it'll be quite interesting, you know, to see how long people can stay at home. I think it'll be a very interesting and painful experiment, you know. Like, how many days can a kid stay at home before they go mad? Okay, kids, you don't have to type stop spamming the group chat, because technically by typing stop spamming the group chat, you are spamming. We just wait for a few more kids to come in. I think I still got about what, 3 more minutes? Stay at home for 11 days, not mad yet. Someone says they are already mad. Can someone tell Renee to just press the play button on the main screen? Want to go back to school. Yeah, I can't believe that kids are actually saying that, you know, they want to go back to school. So like, what do you do at home? You just what, play your computer games, then do your homework. So because this is a free session, the chat box is a bit chaotic. Once we got 300 kids, we'll start. Because this is a free session, the chat box is going to be, okay, you're up doing your homework, doing nothing. Yazini does nothing. Someone Cherry dances. Someone plays with a Rubik's Cube. How many times can you solve the Rubik's Cube? What else do you all do? Click the keyboard. I think you mean click the mouse. Some of you are dying. some of you are just studying and reading all the time. Crazy. I see. Some of you play TikTok. Yeah, I don't do that. Boomers like me don't do TikTok, man. Gambling, some of you gamble. So we're going to play some poker cards today, but parents don't need to worry. Your kids won't be gambling. Okay, so let me just share my screen a bit and then we can start playing the game. I don't think I'll be teaching so much today because firstly, you know, for free lessons, the chat box becomes super chaotic. It's very hard for me to conduct a proper lesson with a proper engagement because everyone is just typing in a chat box. And kids, if you're new, there are some rules to follow. Please don't spam in the chat box. Don't write things that are unnecessary. And some kids, you're going to be smart. Some children, you know, because they come in for free, they will post like very spammy links in the chat box. If you click on those links, it may lead you to sites that contain malware or, you know, things that may mess up your computer. So don't click on weird links that other kids may put in the chat box. Of course, don't write things you won't say in front of your mom. The reason being, I will upload this video onto YouTube or Vimeo, and it'll be there forever. So when you're 20 years old and you're an adult, young, successful adult, we can still come and blackmail you with all the horrible things you type in the chat box. So please don't say things to embarrass yourself. And also, your parents will be watching this video. I'll be emailing this video to your parents. So you break the above two rules, you'll be banned from the webinar. Some of you have been kicked out like multiple times. I remember some of your names. So if you still haven't learned, then I don't know how you can be helped. Perhaps you will regret your actions 10 years later. So don't say things to embarrass yourself, okay? So keep it polite, keep it civil, so that everybody can have fun in this lesson. So today I'll be teaching you how to tackle boring compo topics. The kids who are at Great Solution and kids who are in the Writing Samurai course, they should more or less have an idea of how to tackle boring topics by now. So if you're a new student, you are playing a game against other kids who already have some know-how and some techniques to win at this competition. So yeah, it's quite an unfair game. So just a show of hands, how many of you are students at Great Solution? Type in the comment section, GS. How many of you are students at writingsamurai.com? Type in the comment section, WS. Those of you who are new, type in the comment section, new. So I want to get a gauge of how many new students, how many old students, so I can skip, you know, all the pointless introduction. Because if it's all old students and current students, I don't need to introduce myself anymore. Oh, quite a lot of new students though. Okay, thanks for your comments. So sorry, old students, sorry you got to sit through this introduction again. I'll make it very quick and painless. I'm Jerry Lee, founder of writingsamurai.com, also director at Great Solution Learning Center, and I'm a co-founder of ChineseCompositions.com. Don't worry, I'm not the one teaching Chinese compositions. If I teach Chinese compositions, I think you all will fail. My partner, Miss Teacher Ying Jing, is teaching the Chinese compositions course. My passion's in reading and writing, and sometimes teaching. Sometimes, not all the times. So how established are we in Singapore? I think some of you are like watching this from Australia or Hong Kong. If you are watching from another country, hi to you as well. We run Great Solution Tuition Center. So what's the difference between Great Solution and writingsamurai.com? Great Solution, writingsamurai.com, Chinese composition, all made up of different teams. Okay, Great Solution is run by me and Mr. Jimmy from Jimmy Maths. You see this guy over here that looks like some Korean actor. I think you all may not know it by now. The TV show is outdated, but Mr. Jimmy very proudly still introduces himself as a Korean actor look-alike. So we got about 30 staff, NIE certified teachers, full-time tutors. They have to go through a strict application interview process where I'll be the one asking them very technical questions. Some of my students know the kind of questions I ask, not very easy. Not a lot of people pass. In fact, most of the people will fail the application test, so only a few make it through. The few that make it through, you see they are all standing here under the Christmas tree. So we are, I'm not trying to say like I'm an expert or what, I don't know why, but my students keep thinking that I'm supposed to be the smartest in the whole group. Actually, I'm not. I'm the dumbest in the whole group. and all of them have contributed a lot to my knowledge and intelligence. So over the years, I've picked up a lot of technical English from Miss Phillips, who used to be an editor for assessment books. I learned how to teach students from Miss Teo, and every other teacher, they contributed some aspect of their knowledge to me, which I take and use for in my teaching methods. Even the courses that you attend on writingsamurai.com, some of the courses are created by our professional curriculum writers. So when I create the course, I do have a method in mind, but when I meet up with these curriculum writers and they share their methods with me, we combine our ideas together to make the course even better. So over the years, we stress on a culture of constant improvements. So I've been teaching for about 7 to 8 years now, and without meeting all these wonderful people, I don't think I would have improved in my teaching. So yeah, very lucky to have met them. And if any of you are being taught by any of these teachers you saw under the Christmas tree, you are very lucky as well, because they have been screened. So these are the courses we have online. Kids, we can just ignore the spammers, because this is a free lesson. You're just going to get spammers. If you don't want to meet spammers and you want a nice proper lesson with nice engagement, the truth is you have to pay. The freeloaders won't come and cause trouble when they pay for the lessons. So parents, if you are looking at the chat box and you're horrified by what you're seeing right now, I apologize. I can assure you that if you pay for my lessons, these kind of things won't happen. Because once people pay for education, they become more serious. But when it's free, you just get a lot of people coming in and just spamming and playing around. So this is why, although I want to teach for free, the truth is it's very hard to make it free if you just look at the chat box right now. Got it? So parents, if you are thinking of enrolling for our online lessons and you're worried that it will look like the chat box above, don't worry. Our online lessons, our paid online lessons, we will limit it to less than 100. From my experience so far, teaching classes from like 50 to 100, the chat box is very manageable. And a lot of times when people pay for the lesson, they won't come and ruin the experience of themselves. I like to give the analogy, very few people will pay to $127 to go and watch, a play, or the Lion King musical. It's very expensive. I think I spent about $300 watching the musical. Very few people will spend like $300+ to watch a musical, and then after that spend the whole musical talking on their phones, or playing silly games on their phones, because they spend money on that play. Their full attention will be on the play, and this is the difference between the paid lessons and the free online lessons. The reason why I'm carrying out these free online lessons is, as you can see, the kids are super bored. Our parents also need some relief. A lot of people need some outlet, to vent their stress. They need to spam a bit in the chat box, get it out of their system. Some people just want to communicate. Some people just want to learn something and not let their brains rot. Some people just want to win and play some games and get educated and entertained at the same time. That's why I thought, hey, it's probably a good time to host these free lessons. Since I'm not a nurse or a doctor, I can't really. The only way I can contribute is by, number one, staying at home, don't do anything silly, and help ease the so-called suffering and frustration and the boredom that students and perhaps some parents feel when you are locked down at home. Okay, so don't be shocked by the chat box. So I can assure you, if you're paying for our lessons, you know that the chat box is not crazy like this, because a lot of the spammers over here, they are not the paying students, right? Okay, so what I'm going to be teaching you today, oh, by the way, all these courses are closed. Enrollment period is only for a short time, maybe about 1 week a month, once a week a month. Once you miss the enrollment period, we are not accepting any new students. Why is that so? We got limited manpower. Like I said, my interview process is quite complicated, quite difficult to pass. That's why our hiring is not as fast as other organizations. And because of that, we got to limit the number of students coming in, because if there's one tsunami of students coming in, like these free lessons, the experience of all the people paying will be severely reduced, right? So the number of students coming in, we will control them. so that everybody can get the best experience. And in the long run, I think that's a better decision than opening up the course all the time and letting people just swarm in until, things get out of hand and we get complaints. I don't want that. Okay, enough of the introduction. So kids, if you want to make this experience good for yourself, you can stop spamming. If those people who are wondering why there's no sound, please tell them to adjust their own speakers. You can help me by typing in a chat box, please adjust your own speakers because everyone is hearing fine. So now it's the time for you to type something useful in the chat box. I want to ask you, what are some boring compo topics you have encountered? Because the truth is, we have been teaching for about 7 to 8 years. I will take note of all the compo topics or compo pictures that are being tested during the exams. Some of them are being repeated. Some of them but overall I can feel that the tests and exams, the topics and the pictures given for the tests and exams, I feel like the examiners may be running out of ideas, and some of the topics can be seriously quite boring. So type in the comment section, what are some boring compo topics you have encountered or experienced or have attempted before? I think some of the most boring ones we have marked is an interesting learning journey. Now, if you have to tell people that your learning journey is interesting, it's probably not very interesting. Just like if I invite people to my comedy session and I say, hey, it's a very funny comedy session, it's probably not going to be very funny. A memorable event. What else do you get? A dishonest act. Actually, a dishonest act can be quite fun. The worst day ever. The worst day ever is a very fun topic. A bad experience. That sounds like a fun topic as well. Yong Xian's mom, please take note, your son is again causing trouble. He's been causing trouble for every lesson. So Yong Xian, I'll be emailing your mom later. A kind act I witnessed. So this is another weird one. What else? A celebration, a surprising incident, a good deed, a new experience, an unusual friendship. Actually, an unusual friendship is quite fun. Bullying. Bullying is actually a very interesting topic. You'll never like a birthday party. You'll never go out of a season. You will always get a bullying topic. An accident. Yep, an accident is super cliche. Lost in the wild. Actually, that's fun. Why you all think it's boring? A happy event. Someone said anything positive. Very good. Patience. Wow, that's a super tough topic to write about. One word, patience. A birthday. Yeah, I don't know how fun your birthdays are. In the past, my birthday, we just cut a cake, celebrate, and that's it. What else? A fight in the supermarket. I think I saw something like that. But the words are flashing so fast. A mystery story. Actually, a mystery story can be very fun. But I can tell you, what are the boring topics are. I can show you, I probably think number 3 is the most boring topic. A kind act that I witnessed, because it is not something that you have done personally. It's something you witnessed. So you are writing as a bystander throughout the entire composition, and it's not something I'll recommend at all. I wouldn't recommend anyone to write as a bystander. What else? A lie that I told, a dilemma. Dilemma, it's a cliche compo topic as well. Someone say HBL. Good joke. HBL. So the problem with boring compo topics is, like one kid mentioned, a lot of times boring compo topics usually deal with positive topics. Now, like as educators and as teachers, they don't really like people to harp on negative subjects or negative subject matter. They want to encourage more positive thinking. But the truth is, when it comes to story writing, every single story you read, every single TV show you watch, every single movie you watch, all comes with a problem. There is some kind of negative problem that your characters try to overcome. Imagine going to watch a movie called The Avengers Birthday Party. It's probably not going to be a very interesting movie. What are you going to watch? Captain America, the Hulk, and Iron Man, Spider-Man celebrating a birthday party? And then there's nothing negative that happens? Yeah, it's going to be a super boring movie. Or maybe your movie is like a kind act, right? And the whole movie is just showing people doing kind acts. That's like the complete opposite of Just for Laughs. Am I right? When you watch Just for Laughs TV shows, there's always a problem. Someone is always going through some pain and humiliation, and then you, as a viewer, you're always laughing at the people who are being pranked. Am I right? But very, very seldom will people film TV shows about people doing kind acts. Oh, look, someone gave up a seat to an old lady. Oh, look, a fireman is rescuing a cat from a tree. Oh, look, this person is saying please and thank you at the coffee shop. It's not going to make a very good movie. So the truth is, when the compo topics are positive, it's honestly quite hard to write because your traditional story writing structure of intro, suspense building, your rising action, your climax and your problem, your resolution, your conclusion, that whole traditional story mountain structure, you can take it and you can throw it away because some of these topics, you cannot create problems for them. And how do students tackle boring topics? Now, one problem with a one-size-fits-all method is this. I'm very wary when teachers or tutors, they go around teaching students, hey, you use this one method, you can use it for all the compositions. It seldom works. So I think there are some people who tout the story mountain method. The story mountain is not a method. It's a basic understanding. It's like telling you to read more books. Okay, writing a composition using a story mountain method is not something you should be like, oh wow, what an amazing technique. It's not something amazing. It's normal. Okay, it's like telling you, hey, how to improve my English? Go read some books. Here, pay me $100 for that advice. No, okay, it is simple, fundamental advice that everybody should know. But the problem with if you just stick to the story mountain idea, you will try to come up with problems or conflict when there are none to begin with. For example, if your topic is about a celebration, if your topic is about an interesting learning journey, it's very difficult to come up problems and conflicts for those kind of stories. Next, when there are no problems, then what do the students do? They regress to their primary 1 and primary 2 or even kindergarten writing style. They just write a sequence by sequence account of the whole event with zero description. They'll just say, oh, in the morning I woke up, the birds were chirping, the fish were swimming, the sun was playing hide and seek behind the clouds. Insert all your cliche weather descriptions there. I came out, my parents say, surprise, happy birthday. They gave me a birthday cake. My friends came, we played some games. And then in the end, I went back to sleep. What a memorable day, something like that. It was just a sequence by sequence account of an event that bores the reader to sleep. So what are we going to do then? If we can't do the story mountain method, we can't use the story mountain method for this, we can't make the problem worse for this, then what do we do? Some students, they will just bury their face in their hands and cry. Now, I'm glad that you are attending this lesson. Surprisingly, this lesson has fewer registrants compared to my vocab booster lessons, when actually this lesson may be more important than vocab booster about, my lessons about vocabulary. The reason being, I'm seeing an increasing trend of, I'm seeing a trend that is trending towards positive topics. More and more examiners seem to be setting topics that are more on the positive side. And students struggle with that. If so happens you're taking your PSLE at the end of this year, and your compo topic is something like a birthday party, I can tell you not a lot of people are going to score very high marks for their composition, because the truth is kids are very well ill-equipped to write positive topics with no problem or conflict. So when students try to come up with problems or conflicts, they tend to write out of point. I'll show you one example later. I'll tell you a story about that later. But most students, not creative enough to even come up with a conflict or problem, they may just write a sequence by sequence account of an event, and it turns out to be very boring, just like what I described to you earlier, the most boring birthday party ever that nobody cares about. So let me backtrack a bit. I can tell you like some of the stories that my students write about. I think very early on when I just started teaching, I had this student who received this topic, an interesting learning journey. Do take note, the keyword here is interesting. And I just want to like get some ideas from you all. When you all go on learning journeys, where do you all go to? Please let me know in the comment section below. Do you all go to the zoo? Do you all go to the bird park? Do you all go to, I don't know, Haw Par Villa? Well, that's not interesting. Haw Par Villa is like one of the scary learning journey. So let me know in the comment section, what are some places you went to? Jacob Ballas, that's cool. The zoo. Yeah, the zoo. You know, when I was in primary school and when I finally got to go to the zoo, I still remember that my form teacher, I'm not sure if she's watching this, my form teacher, when she brought us to the zoo, I was so disappointed because she had a fear of snakes and she refused to let us enter the snakes enclosure. At that period of time, I was such a snake crazy kid that I could tell every single species of snake. You give me any weird looking snake with polka dots, I can point at the snake and tell you what species it is. And I was so sad that when I finally got a chance to show off my knowledge about snakes, my teacher has a fear of snakes and she did not allow us to go to the snake enclosure. So form teacher, if you're watching this, I still remember. What else? Butterfly farm, owl enclosure, art museum. Go to the park. You go to the park for which park? Sungai Buloh. I have some students telling me like they went to Sungai Buloh and saw like some dog-faced water snake. Some of you went to the science center. Yeah, the science center like has been super run down. I haven't been there in ages. The petting zoo. Oh, that's fun. Where else? Jurong Bird Park, Hot Park. Yeah, the Hot Park. Hot Park is where I went dating with my wife. Yeah, we took our wedding photos at the Hot Park as well. Kampong Glam. That was fun. I remember going to Chinatown, Little India, and Kampong Glam for my learning journey as well. Okay, great. So do take note, the adjective is interesting learning journey. And the point I'm trying to make is this. My student, right, the time she was like one of the top writers in her whole school. Personally, I felt her writing was okay, but because the writing standard in Singapore is so low that she's the top in her school. Yeah, so but to me, she's okay. And when she wrote this topic, this composition, an interesting learning journey, she got the lowest marks ever. And the parent wrote into me like, the parent was so confused. She wrote into me and she said, Jerry, we use your method, we used your method, we created a problem, we made the problem worse. We followed the story mountain technique, blah, 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 we made the problem worse. And then my daughter gets such low marks after attending your course. Why is that so? So I said, send in your compo, I'll take a look. So when she sent in her compo, I realized that she created a problem for this topic, an interesting learning journey. So the story is about her going to the zoo, and then suddenly, like halfway in, she created a problem. She said the elephant broke out from the enclosure, broke through the fence, started running onto the pavement, started trampling on people, started stepping on people, turning all the visitors at the zoo into roti prata, squashing them like pancake. And then she made the problem worse, she already used my method and she made the problem worse. So she said the elephant went mad, the zookeepers came with their tranquilizer gun, they shot at the elephant, but the elephant fought back with his trunk, he swiped at one of the zookeeper went flying, lots of death, lots of squashed bodies, lots of roti prata, human roti prata. If you're watching from another country, roti prata is like a pancake, but in Indian style, right? Asian Indian pancake. It's awesome. So in case you're watching from another country, yeah, but if you're a Singaporean, you jolly well know what's a roti prata. Yeah, so she described all of that, and then she described how the elephant got hit by a tranquilizer dart and then finally fell asleep. And then, wow, what an interesting learning journey. And the teacher didn't give her high marks, and the teacher's comments, which I totally agree, the teacher said, Chloe, I think her name was called Chloe, Michaela, the topic is about an interesting learning journey. The topic is not about a tragedy. The topic is not about an elephant gone mad. The topic is not about how to make roti prata. You don't say, step 1, gather a bunch of humans. Step 2, set loose an elephant. Step 3, watch the elephant squash people into pancakes. No. So the topic is about an interesting learning journey. Don't turn it into a tragedy. Don't turn it into a fearful learning journey. Don't turn it into a horrifying learning journey. Don't turn it to a nightmare learning journey. You have to make it interesting. All right. And based on that, I said, I'm sorry, your teacher is right. The methods have to change. You can't just fixate on using one method. You must be smart enough. You must be flexible enough to adapt to different compo topics. Okay? All right. If you're going to try to use one method for every topic, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to embarrass yourself writing stories about elephants trampling on people. So she rewrote the story using a description method, and she scored better marks. So how do we tackle boring compo topics? Now, those students at Great Solution, the older students especially, those students in Writing Samurai, the older students especially, I address this problem, in the later part of the course. And there are a few methods I share, but today I'll only focus on one method, a simple method. Because if I want to teach you about good vocabulary, trust me, I will need more than one free lesson. I'll probably need like 5, 6, 7, 8 lessons to build up your vocabulary. If I'm going to teach you method number 3, write the topic from unique perspectives, again, I'll probably need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lessons and a lot of practice. But one simple method that you can use today is basically describe. It sounds very commonsensical and sounds very straightforward. But I know all the new students who are watching this lesson, you have an idea of what description is, you have an idea of what show not tell is, but you cannot apply it. Description is not the same as a narration of sequences. A lot of times, when new students join my class and I say, hey, describe this scene, I can tell you 100% of the new students fail to describe. They will narrate sequences. They do not know how to describe the sequences. Okay? And this is what I mean by narration of sequences. You got to change your mindset from sequence to description. But let's look at a bad example first. So here's the first bad example, an interesting learning journey. Our teacher told us that we will be going to the zoo. We were overjoyed. The school bus took us there that morning. First, we went to look at the otters. They were cute. Then we went to look at the giraffes and monkeys. Notice there is not a single description over here. All the student is doing is writing, hey, sequence number 1, we are going to the zoo. Sequence number 2, okay, she put in a little bit of description. We were overjoyed. The school bus took us there in the morning. Then we went to look at the otters. Cute. That's very minimal description. And then I went to look at giraffes. I went to look at monkeys. And, it's just step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. And I'm not the only one who noticed this. If you're an MOE teacher watching this video, if you're a tutor watching this video, sure enough, you can look at your students writing. Most of them are just writing sequence and narration. Very few people are actually applying description method, even though the show not tell description method has been taught to death in school. So this is all sequences. Can you imagine 2 pages of this? 2 pages of just saying step 1, I'm doing this, step 2, I'm doing this. You're just going to bore the reader to death. So when I say describe, you must follow point number 1. You must be able to freeze the scene in your mind and refrain from the urge of pushing the plot forward. Don't push the plot forwards. When you try to push the plot forwards, you are narrating, you are going back to writing in sequences. If you just focus on one scene or a few key scenes in your mind and freeze that scene may only, like in real life, if that scene only takes place in about what? 20 seconds, 1 minute. All right, if the scene takes place within 1 minute or 20 seconds, you must have the ability, the writer's ability, to freeze the scene in your mind, slow it down, press play, and just slowly scan through the scene. Freeze the scene in your mind because you're going to be focusing on all the tiny little details in that scene as you are doing your description. Next, when you're writing in sequence, you are using a lot of action words, and your sentence structures and vocabulary becomes very rudimentary, becomes very babyish. But if you force yourself to slow down, freeze the scene, and just simply focus on the details, you start to open up your mind to think of more adjectives and more descriptors. So like recently I'm getting a lot of requests about from parents asking me to teach good phrases. You want one of the basics of opening up your mind to good phrases. Step one, freeze the scene in your mind. If you are unable to freeze the scene in your mind, you won't be able to find the good phrases to describe the scene. So the way you think about writing has to change. Okay, instead of thinking of, I take this good phrase, I plug and play inside, I take this good phrase, I copy and paste into my compo, you must think of it as stop the scene in your mind, focus on the detail. Every detail you think of, you look at, every detail you visualize, you can come up with a good phrase for it. And once you start seeing more details, you start more good phrases start appearing in your mind, more good phrases that you have learned before, start coming back, start resurfacing on your memory. Whereas if you're just running sequence by sequence, the only phrases that you'll be throwing up are the cliche phrases. And I can say 80% of you, the way you all describe are all very similar. Next, step number 4, or some of my students have been learning this, engaging the reader's 5 senses. Now, this is a very simple concept to understand, but it takes a lifetime to master. If you can engage the reader's sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch, once you can engage the reader's 5 senses very deeply, not on a surface level, but on a very deep level, okay, your story becomes very interesting. The analogy is you are like experiencing a 4D movie and you can see everything happening before you. You can feel things happening before you. You feel like you are right at the scene itself. The best example I can give is think of the Shrek Experience movie at Universal Studios, or think of that Transformer ride. Think of the Transformers ride at Universal Studios. Okay, it feels very realistic. You can feel the explosion of the missile. You can feel the donkey sneezing on you. If you are able to describe to a very high level, the reader will have that effect as well. Okay, the reader will feel so scared, feel so nervous, feel so angry, or maybe even feel cold or feel hungry based on what you describe. And last week when we were playing this game, I think one of the kids here, Yin Hu, managed to engage the 5 senses very well. He managed to engage the sense of taste very well. That when I read his description, I suddenly had a strong craving for gourmet hamburgers. Okay, once you can incite that kind of feeling and that kind of a craving in the reader, you would have done your job. Okay, you would have done your job. But before the good phrases can come, step 1, freeze the scene in your mind. So how would I freeze the scene? I try not to rush. Let's look at the example again about going to the zoo. It's a super boring topic to write about, but you can make it pretty interesting. You can give the reader a 4D effect. So let's look at this. When Madam Tan, our form teacher, told us that we would be going to the zoo for our learning journey, we received mixed reactions. Some of the kids were whooping with joy. Some groan and complain about the heat or the lack of Wi-Fi. It is the truth. I got students complaining when they go to MacRitchie Reservoir, Sungai Buloh, or some nature places, they complain about the lack of Wi-Fi. Some complain about the heat or the lack of Wi-Fi, while others just remain nonchalant about it. I, for one, was pumping my fist in the air, grinning from cheek to cheek, totally unable to contain my excitement. Now, the phrases I use here are hardly good phrases. In fact, pumping my fist in the air, grinning from cheek to cheek can be considered quite cliche. But if you were to compare this example with the previous example, notice the remarkable difference in description. Here, I froze the scene. In the first paragraph, instead of rushing to the zoo immediately in the first paragraph, all I did was just freeze the scene. Freeze the scene in the classroom. The moment the teacher, Madam Tan, broke the news to you, what was the reaction of the classmates? Perhaps the reactions only passed in like 30 seconds, but in your mind, freeze that scene. Imagine your mind as a Polaroid camera. Take a photo, freeze it, describe everything. And when I say take a photo, you don't just describe the visual elements. You describe the sound elements, all right? Engage the sense of hearing, whooping with joy, groaning, complaining. Visual elements like, some people remain stone-faced, nonchalant. Visual elements, pumping your fist, grinning from cheek to cheek. Focus on all these small details and reactions when the teacher breaks the news to you. Refrain from rushing along and saying home. We got onto the school bus and we reached the zoo. In the first paragraph, stick with the scene because you still got to write 2 pages more of description. And if let's say I want to continue the story, I can talk about the school bus, blah, blah, blah. But the moment I reach the zoo, this will be my next description. The first thing we noticed when we entered the zoo was the pungent stench of animal feces. So 5 senses description in play over here, I'm engaging the reader's sense of smell. And then again, if you have learned how to write dialogue, if you learn how to use dialogue, insert in a simple dialogue because a wall of text and narration can be super boring. So add in some dialogue. And by the way, using dialogue engages with the reader's sense of hearing. A few of my classmates covered their noses in disgust. Sorry, covered their noses. There's a mistake here. In disgust. I had no complaints. I was glad to be out of the classroom. So anytime you feel like, you're running out of things to write, always go back to the bread and butter skill of writing, describing feelings and thoughts. As simple as that. Instead of running from one sequence to another, you can fill up the sequences with feelings, actions, thoughts, 5 senses description, freeze the scene there. And honestly, if you go to the zoo, if you have been to the zoo as many times as I have, the first thing you notice when you step in is the stench of animal poop. Am I right? You smell this very strong stench, especially like when you go to the rhinoceros enclosure, or what's the other enclosure that's super stinky? The rhinoceros one is one, the elephant one also, or they're pooping all the time. Yeah, so don't be afraid. Just engage the reader's sense of smell, even though it may be slightly negative. Got it? So freeze the scene. And for those of you paying attention, you can just ignore the chat box for now. Because for the free lessons, the chat box, you only look at it when I'm asking a question and people are replying. Other than that, just ignore the chat box, okay? And then, instead of, when the story mountain method, right, you will reach a climax. For this kind of topics, which are super boring, and there are no problems, and there are no conflicts, instead of a climax, replace it with a few key scenes. You are not going to describe every single animal that you see in the zoo. Your compo will probably end up to be 20 pages long, or even more than that, depending on the number of animals at the zoo. You're just going to describe a few key events that happen. And in this case, on the trip to the zoo, you'll describe a few key animals. Like, for example, when I go to the zoo, I see so many monkeys and primates, I can't really tell the difference between a monkey from one monkey to another monkey anymore. I don't know if you feel the same way. But when I see animals I'm interested in, like snakes, or maybe even spiders, I look at the spiders dangling on the trees. They're not part of the zoo exhibits. I will remember those animals. So in this case, for this student, I remember she wrote about seeing the giraffe as a favorite animal, but she didn't quite describe it. So instead of saying, we went to look at the giraffes, they were tall, and then you move on to the next enclosure, what you should do is freeze the scene of the giraffe and just take your time to describe it. Just take your time to describe it. Freeze the scene and take your time to describe it. So you can say if the giraffe was my favorite animal, it has a long, elegant neck, simple adjectives, you just throw them in. Because when you freeze the scene, you start to notice more details. More details will give you more adjectives. More adjectives sometimes will expand to more descriptive words, more phrases, blah, blah, blah. It has a long, elegant neck that could reach for leaves on tall trees, and they move around with grace and poise. The way they move, they're kind of zen, right? They don't move around in a hurry like little children. They move with grace, they move with poise. Its fancy brown spotted coat made for good photos among the lush green backdrop. Now, here you see your so-called good phrases starting to appear. And I wouldn't even call them like super bombastic good phrases. They are basically very effective phrases that paint a picture of a giraffe and green backdrop behind. We got a chance to feed it with bananas. I don't know whether you have tried it. You should try it because when a giraffe comes towards you to lick the fruit off your hand, it can be quite disgusting. So we got a chance to feed it with bananas. My good friend Stella let out a shriek when the giraffe's long, slimy tongue licked the fruit off her hand. So I engaged the sense of touch as well by describing a slimy tongue. And it can be as simple as this. Instead of rushing from narration to narration, slow down the scene, think of more details, spend more time on the key scenes. Okay, spend more time on the key scenes, and you'll find that, wow, there's so many things to write about. And in the end, your so-called boring topic becomes pretty interesting. Now, before I drag on any longer, if you want like a full lesson on how to describe boring scenes, you can sign up for lessons at Great Solution Learning Center or writingsamurai.com, or perhaps we will have more live online lessons, paid live online lessons coming up in May. Okay, the details I'm not very sure yet. We are still planning and waiting for the government to give us a clearer sign whether will we be returning back to the physical center or we are still going to be stuck at homes and teaching online. So this is a snippet of how to write a boring scene. There are a lot more techniques, but today, to keep it simple, if you can focus on these few points, it's good enough. Number one, freeze the key scenes in your mind. And number two, take your time to describe. Don't rush from scene to scene. Don't rush from sequence to sequence. Number three, fight the urge to get on with the story. Don't try to push the plot along. Okay, I know you want to get on to the next animal enclosure, the next scene. Fight that urge. Stay with that same scene. If you can stay with the scene and notice all the details, whatever that seems boring suddenly becomes more interesting. And make the reader feel like he or she is at the scene. So take the boring scene as a challenge. If you can turn a boring scene into a very immersive 4D experience for the reader, you would have done a good job. And that's what today's game is all about. So today's game will be quite different from the other games I played with you. There will be 3 winners. Each winner will get a $50 popular voucher. The winners who won the last time, if I remember your name correctly, Dennis Wong, Ivy All, Yin Hu, when this so-called circuit breaker is over, the company in charge of delivering the popular vouchers should be delivering the popular vouchers to your house. I'll update you again once the circuit breaker measures are lifted. And for the rest of you today, same prizes, because I can't go out and shop for prizes, right? And usually when we play such games, we will give you tickets to the trampoline park or the super park, but that's like the last place you want to go right now, and you can't go there anyway. So again, you get to win $50 popular vouchers. We will pick 3 winners. What is the objective of this game? Random draw. I will give you a super boring topic. I will give you a super boring character, object, or setting. You got to use that super boring topic and the super boring object, character, or setting to write a short descriptive paragraph. Whether the paragraph is an introduction, whether the paragraph is a key scene, aka climax, whether the paragraph is a conclusion, I will let you know. So you got to listen up very carefully. So you can choose to ignore the spam going on in the chat box and just focus on my instructions, because I won't repeat them again. Because the truth is, only the super high level writers can win today. This game is not easy, and this is a game we play at our center. So all the new kids who are still attending like super boring classes where they are making you write compo after compo after compo after compo, or like I hear some of you like 4 weeks still writing one composition, or some of you go for your classes and all you do is just memorize good phrases. This is what we do at Great Solution Learning Centers. We will play games like this. The kids will be in different groups and they will sabotage each other with super boring topics and super boring characters, objects, or settings. They will pick for one another and give each other the worst possible topic and worst possible prompt. But because there are like 465 kids here, I can't split you up into groups and I can't let you all sabotage each other. Even the chat box is going insane. So what I'll do instead is to use a random draw from the poker cards over here, if you can see. I'll shuffle them and then I will draw and we'll see what we'll get. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So I'm going to shuffle here. See, I'm not cheating. There's nothing to cheat also. I have nothing to gain from this. I'm giving away free prizes, like, Okay, first card. What topic? We're going to draw for a topic. Which topic do you think we will get? Let me know in the comment section below. Which topic do you think we will get? The topic you'll be getting is Jack, a unique hobby. Wow, this is super difficult. So listen up carefully. The topic that you're going to be writing about is a unique hobby. All right. So I'm just going to highlight it here because in case some of you have a goldfish memory, I don't want people asking me, hey, what topic am I supposed to write about? So I'm going to highlight here. This is your topic. And now we're going to have a random draw for character, object, or settings. I'm going to shuffle again. 7, a bus. You know, interesting thing, I did have a student. His unique hobby is stocking buses and memorizing bus routes and memorizing bus models. He was like a bus enthusiast. And like when I see him playing games on his phone, he's playing as a bus driver. So I asked him, like, what do you want to be next time? He says he wants to be a bus driver. So he's really into buses. It's a super unique hobby. Okay, so what character and object or setting you're going to get? Oh, sorry, this is a joker. I forget to remove the joker. One more time. 3, a wallet. A unique hobby. And you got to imagine that you have to use a picture of a wallet or describe a picture of a wallet. Now I'm trying to think of how many prompts or to what extent I should help you with when it comes to brainstorming. Do you want me to help you a bit? Do you want me to give you some ideas? If you want me to give you some ideas, say yes. But if you are super good at writing and you already got ideas and you do not want other people to have the same ideas as you, type no in the comment section. So if you want ideas or you want to brainstorm for some ideas, type yes in the comment section. Those of you who got enough ideas, say no. Okay, I'm going to share some ideas with you because this is your first assignment. The next 2, I'm not going to help you all so much. So what if during the exams, and by the way, all these topics that I put out over here, I did not come up with them from thin air. These are actual exam questions. And I can tell you, the picture of the wallet is the most common picture you will receive for your exams because there's a lot of free pictures of wallets online for the examiner to use. Okay? So if let's say in your exams, the topic is a unique hobby and the picture is a wallet, if you can come up with a truly interesting idea, if you can describe super well, if you can come up with something very unique and interesting from such a boring topic and picture, you will be just click on the reconnect button. You can help a lot by telling everybody to click the reconnect button in the chat box. Okay, so kids who are used to this format, just type in the comment section, reconnect, and you should be fine. Okay, not too bad. We only crashed one time. Okay, let me wait for the screen share function to work. Share. Is it working yet? Okay, it's lagging quite a bit. Again, the lag only occurs, severe lag only occurs when the student numbers like go above 300 or 400 in this case. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, so whether you see my screen or not, doesn't matter. Whether you see my screen or not, doesn't matter. You are supposed to write an introduction. Listen carefully. Take your attention away from the spam box, from the chat box, if you want to seriously win this. You are supposed to write a short one-paragraph introduction. The words that you must use in the introduction is a unique hobby, and you must be describing a wallet, things related to the wallet, or unique hobby related to the wallet. Some ideas I will share with you. Your unique hobby obviously can be collecting wallets, or your unique hobby could be designing wallets, or perhaps your unique hobby could be selling stuff, and you're cashing in the money, putting it in your wallet. Like if I were to go back to my childhood past, I remember when I was in primary school, I like to sell stuff in school for some reason. I don't know why. I took one whole bunch of dinosaur stickers, and I'm like selling dinosaur stickers to everybody I can find. And then I had a great time collecting the money and putting it in my wallet. That was like my hobby, selling stuff and collecting money. And I don't even spend the money. I just put them in my piggy bank. I just collect the coins and I put them in my piggy bank because I want to fill it up. And I don't even want to open the piggy bank. After selling dinosaur stickers, the next thing I sold was keychains. And the keychains are not like your super cool keychains. They are like banana keychains. My mom would make banana keychains. I don't know why. And she said, hey, since you like selling this so much, bring the banana keychains to school and sell. So I brought all the banana keychains to school and I was selling it to all the kids. And that was my hobby. And the one I really earned quite a large sum of money just selling keychains. Soon the whole level, I remember the whole primary 6 level, they had banana keychains on their school bag. Then the teacher even joked like, what is this? Where are you from? The banana gang, is it? Yeah, so that was my unique hobby, selling stuff and writing lots of comic books. Collecting wallets, designing wallets, selling stuff and keeping the money in wallets. These are 3 unique hobbies you can think of. Describe them in one paragraph. Where are you going to send it to? You're going to send it to my email address. So I'm going to give you a chance to send in your work. Let me just insert the text over here. Same as the last lesson, just email me. Just one paragraph would do, not too long, not too short. Be like Goldilocks and her porridge. Understand? Just nice. Not too long, not too short, just nice. So write and send it to me at this email. The time starts now. I'm going to give you like because this is your first one, I'm going to give you slightly longer time. And I think we got plenty of time here today. 8 minutes. The time starts now. I'm going to play like some soothing piano music. If you hate piano music, just mute your speakers. Nobody is forcing you to listen. And I will remove my face so you can concentrate and think of how you can write an introduction about a unique hobby while describing a wallet. Six minutes left. I see some submissions coming in. I saw a few good ones coming in already. Now, those of you who are sending in and you just type writing about, this person likes wallets and all that, you're not going to win. You have to describe the wallet. 5 senses, remember? What the? Someone even described the weather. That's a fail, 5 minutes left. I see some interesting ones. You're going to like the ones I'm going to share with you later. Four minutes left. Ming Yang, I will not read yours because you're spamming. I will purposely not read yours, Ming Yang. Three minutes left. So I'm just laughing at some of your submissions. You kids are weird, man. This is more entertaining than watching Netflix. Two more minutes, then I'm going to pick out a few to show you. I think you'll find them funny as well. One final minute, come on. Alisa, send to my email. Don't type it there. That's the spam box now. It's not the chat box. In the free lesson, the chat box becomes a spam box. Ring the school bell rang. That's a fail intro, by the way. Whoever wrote that, Rider So. You better sign up for my course. It's a fail intro. Okay, 10 seconds. No, thumbs up. Okay, now that really forced you to think creatively. I like playing this game because you'll be surprised. Like students always tell me, "Hey, I got nothing to write. I got nothing to write. I got no ideas." But the moment I said we turn a lesson into a game, suddenly they got plenty of ideas, and the things that I see really make me chuckle and laugh. Like I said, reading your writing sometimes can be more interesting than watching Netflix. So let me just load my email inbox and I show you a few, and then y'all can vote who's the winner. Oh my god, email spam. Email spam. So the loading time is a bit slow because I'm sharing the screen. It's consuming a lot of resources on my computer, so please bear with me, okay? I promise to get a more expensive and more powerful computer next time when this circuit breaker is over. I heard there's a shortage of laptops as well. Am I right? I start out a few interesting ones. Oh, that's a lot of submissions. You all really want your popular vouchers, You know what's going to happen, right? Your parents are just going to take the $50 and buy you more assessment books. I'm just kidding. Parents, please don't do that. Don't turn a reward into a punishment. Okay, we're going to start from this page. I start out a few early ones, which are quite interesting. Yeah, time's up. You can stop sending it to me already. I won't read the late ones. Yeah. Which is an interesting one. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, not this one. Angel Yap. This one is interesting. Decorating wallets is my hobby. That's interesting. That's a unique hobby. I do not see people around me doing this, but trust me, it's satisfying and you can draw and doodle whatever you want. After decorating, I would sell them to friends and family members. That was how I pass my free time now. It is completely different. A lot of narration, not a lot of description. This one's interesting. I'm a thief and love to steal wallets from people. I like to steal expensive ones. So this person is quite unique. The unique hobby is being a thief. The unique hobby is stealing wallets, not keeping them. This one made me laugh. Oro Midasan. My father's hobby was unique. He liked to collect designer wallets. Pretty expensive, but he always took a portion of his salary, out of his salary to save towards the next designer wallet. My mother used to give him a hard time, always trying to get that portion spent on necessities. But my father was stubborn and never gave in. Now in his 60s, his designer wallets did him well. He's now living with my mother in a giant house after selling all the designer wallets he painstakingly collected. He kept them in mint condition for 30 years. Now I knew he had a plan after all, that nagging from my mother. This guy, he's not even married yet and he's making wife jokes already. Giselle. Okay, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to pick my own student. I cackled creepily, scaring those near me. I love tearing up wallets. What the heck? The creaking sounds of the wallets relax me. How do you tear wallets? They're made of leather, you know. All right, this is like my wallet, right? You can't tear it, you know. It's made from real leather. You can't. It's very hard to tear real leather. They call me the demon terror. It was like smoking. Super weird. That was weird. Who else? I saw a few interesting ones. All right, here's a trick, right? You want to get picked by me, right? Your first sentence got to be super good, because when I scroll through the email, I only see the first sentence. So your first sentence, you must apply the curiosity hook method. LV wallets. This one's a rich kid. This is what I mean. Don't ever start an introduction with ring the school bell rings. Okay, super boring. But there's one pretty interesting one. Yep, this one. Ever since my childhood, I collect bus tickets. It might sound odd, but I like doing it. I love vehicles and I want to be a pilot. I'm so confused. You collect bus tickets, but you want to be a pilot. I memorized the whole MRT system. Whichever bus I go, so I'm very confused now. You want to be a pilot, but you collect bus tickets and you memorize the MRT system. Whichever bus I go to, you can see me taking tickets out from the dispenser. Then I would chuck them inside my wallet. Sometimes my portfolio will be all puffed up, and once I reach home, I will keep them in the box. Good idea, but pretty confusing. Back to my inbox of spam. Again, I'll pick based on the first sentence I read. Motik happy, I recognize you. Yeah, I think this is a winner. My sister guessed. Motik happy, I see her in a writing samurai online course, if I'm not wrong. My sister gasped and her eyes widened when she opened my cabinet. A dozen wallets came falling out like dominoes. Kids, you want good phrases? Take a look at all this. This is what happens when you can freeze frame a scenario in your mind. All these similes you can create on the spot. A dozen wallets came falling out like dominoes. Are you a thief? You better admit everything before I report you to mom, she demanded. I denied vehemently and explained that I have recently taken a deep interest in being a forensic scientist by collecting used and thrown wallets to examine the number of fingerprints on them. Rolling her eyes at me, my sister exclaimed, "What a unique hobby you have." Awesome. So this is our first nomination, okay? Let's try to pick one more. So Motik happy, take note, you are the first nominee. We will try to pick one more. Then the kids get to vote. Good job, man. I like that. Like to collect forensic prints. You know who else likes to do that? Warren Buffett. Yeah, well, I think he's the third or fourth richest man in the world. When he was a kid, he collected fingerprints of nuns. Nuns are the female version of monks, in case you don't know. Right? He collected fingerprints of nuns. He went to church and went to take all the fingerprints from the nuns from his fingerprint collection set. The reason being, he said one day a nun is going to commit a crime, and he's going to be the only kid in town with all the fingerprints of nuns, and the police are going to come to him and ask him for the fingerprints of nuns. What a super weird hobby. Let's look at one. This doesn't seem like a unique hobby. This seems like a very sad story, but good idea. Last night I had a dream. I tripped over a wallet. Okay, you want to talk about crazy dreams? Wait till you join my live online lessons. You see the crazy dreams my students have. You can make like a pretty messed up Disney movie, man. Take Juan Hong. Joab, what's this? I took out my black gloves and wore it. He sounds like Michael Jackson. Sorry, Michael Jackson wears the white gloves. Good idea. Nice one, Joab. His hobby is being a pickpocket. It's a glorious morning. When you start an introduction with a glorious morning or ring the bell ring, you would have missed the point. I can't find any more. Can't find any more kids. Let's look at this grandfather one. Oh, no, too short. Lucas Gate, too short. Okay, I got no other nominees. I think we can all agree that Motik Happy will win this round. So first round, good job. Motik Happy, you won. Motik Happy, you have won. And after the end of this lesson, Motik Happy, I need you to send me your real name, your address, and all that, okay? And then I will send the popular vouchers to your house after this circuit breaker is over. So first one, congratulations to Motik Happy. I truly enjoyed reading your description of the wallet. Let's go. Let's play round two. Let's play round two. Let's see what you'll get. So I'm going to leave the highlights over there. So, you know, if I draw a jack again, I will just throw it aside. You don't want it. Okay, first one. $50 worth of vouchers, not $150 worth of vouchers. Oh my God. I'm not that rich. 2, friendship. This is so boring a topic that I can feel the boredom just by looking at the topic itself. Okay, friendship. It'll be super funny if I draw a pair of socks. Friendship and a pair of socks. I want to see what y'all can come up with. Come on, give me queen. Give me a queen. Now I sound like a gambler during Chinese New Year. Give me a queen. Picture. What's this? 7. 7 is a bus. Friendship on a bus. I have never made friends on the bus, but I made enemies. Like one of my most memorable bus rides. I don't want to remember this, but I remember I was in like a secondary one. The bus was super crowded, and my friends were just my friends and I, we were just playing around the bus. We were making a lot of noise, and my bag was super heavy. You know, my bag was so heavy and it was so bulky. Someone was pushing me nonstop, and as that person was pushing me, I was bumping against this very muscular bodybuilder type of guy. So my bag was hitting against him, and he was very annoyed. He was so annoyed. When the bus door opened, the bodybuilder guy, I remember he grabbed me and he tried to push me down the bus. So here's a grown man with lots of muscles he looks okay. He wasn't very big size. He was very short. He was like Mighty Mouse. Okay, he was a very short but muscular, stout guy. He was trying to push me off the bus. I remember that vividly because I was clinging on to the post and trying not to let him push me off the bus. So friendship on a bus, I don't remember that. I only remember someone trying to push me off the bus. That was pretty messed up. The second time that I got into trouble on the bus was my friends and I were making jokes. Some of the jokes were very inappropriate, right? You kids, you all can understand. I don't need to tell you the joke. You're making jokes that were super inappropriate, and then after that, this guy he stalked us. He stalked us while we were walking home, and then he jumped in front of us and said, "All the jokes you tell were very terrible. You're wearing school uniform. I'm going to tell your principal. I'm going to report to the principal all the horrible jokes and things you say on the bus." And then we were so frightened because we really said some very nasty jokes on the bus. So I never had a friendship on a bus before. So I don't think you will want me to prompt you about this. Okay, so let's try no prompt at all. If you can describe friendship on a bus, and this will not be the introduction, you got to write it like it's one of the key scenes in your story. You got to write it like it's the climax of your story. Okay? Got it? Difficult? Yeah, it's meant to be difficult. Same amount of time, 8 minutes. Remember what I say, freeze the scene in your mind. Freeze the scene in your mind. Engage the reader's 5 senses. Just imagine characters on a bus becoming friends, or maybe 2 people on a bus forging a strong friendship. What did they say to each other? What was it that made them friends? Imagine you're writing the climax of the story. Don't write the intro. The climax of the story. 8 minutes starts now. Same thing. Send it into my email. You can start writing already. Don't let my face distract you. For all you know, the picture of a bus is also a very common picture that shows up during exams. Friendship is also a topic. I think some of you have done it before. Six minutes, 30 seconds left. 5 minutes left. Three minutes left. Do take note you're writing the climax, not the intro. It's so messed up. I'm gonna read this later. Chok Cheng Xian. Chok Cheng Xian. Remind me to read yours out later. Tan Junhui. I'll nominate yours as well. 1 minute left. I can be your bus friend. What kind of friend is a bus friend? Oh, it's super funny. I can be your bus friend. Okay, that's it. Time's up. Yeah, this is super interesting. I can be your best friend. Quote of the day. I can be your best friend. Okay, thanks for sharing. Let me just show you the emails I received. Oh, super funny. Laughter is the best medicine. There's a pretty funny one. See, some of you kids are quite smart. You know, when I'm talking and talking about all the boring stuff, you can start writing already, actually. Hang on. So let the screen load. There's so many. I saw so many funny ones. You surprisingly did quite well with this, some of you. I think it's super messed up. Rian Core. This is like dark humor. Okay, it's not supposed to be funny, right? But she totally interpreted the story, the topic very interestingly, in a very interesting way. So this is what she wrote. No, this can't be happening. I look at the lifeless body of my friend. His hands were laying awkwardly under the bus, and blood was gushing out of his knees. Streaming tears stained my cheeks, and the salty droplets flowed to my lip, letting me taste all the guilt. This one is five senses in a super messed up way. It was unforgiving. Of all people, my best friend was the chosen one. The chosen one to go back to his creator. Wow. Although I like the writing here, I fear that you are creating a problem when there's no problem. So the topic is about friendship, not about a mishap, not about lost friendship. So if that, let's say this were to be a composition topic in an exam, you may not, you may be penalized for creating a problem that is way too negative than what the examiner would expect. So good writing, but maybe out of point. Okay, good try, Rian. The piece of writing wow me, and your creative take on the topic was very good. Huh. Adriel, famous philosopher. I have to read this. A famous philosopher, Euripides. Do you make up the name, Adriel? Is that such a philosopher? Friends show their love in times of trouble, not in happiness. The presence of friends make our life worthwhile, but it's really difficult to find a good friend who will be with us in all circumstances of life. Friendship is the most important. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, Adriel, you're supposed to write the climax, but yours seem like you're writing the intro. Hey, why does everybody like to write about blood oozing out? I'm talking about friendship, not about injury, Hmm. This is interesting. This is like some Channel 8 MediaCorp love story. My files and papers fell onto the floor, my face turned beetroot red, and I hurried over to pick up everything before anyone stepped on it. Let me help, came a voice. I looked up at the person while I bent over, muttering a thank you. I flashed a smile at her and she smiled back. Hello, thanks, I appreciate it. Nice. And this is how Daniel found his first girlfriend. I like this. I'm gonna vote for this. We call this right up Daniel and his girlfriend. What is this? Someone using my name. Blah blah blah. Jerry gave me valuable lessons. Not all the time. There's one very interesting one. I blink back tears. When you start in the climax, right? You got to start with, you got to write the action scene ready. This one seems like another. What is this? What's a Donald Trump group? What? Okay, this is super weird. This is super out of point. You're talking about overthrowing a president. How many Donald Trump jokes must we make for every lesson? I like this one. Junwei. Hey, why are you touching my hand? A boy named Jacob yelled at me. So imagine you're on a bus, right? And someone's touching your hand. Actually, I got a real life story regarding this. I'll share about it later. It's super embarrassing. Hey, why are you touching my hand? A boy named Jacob yelled at me. I'm sorry, I have anxiety issues around other people. So I need someone's hand to hold. I started incoherently. When I looked up, his face was more relaxed. He then whispered in my ear and said, don't worry. I used to have that problem too. I can help you like how my therapist helped me. We can do it. Jacob encouraged me. So this is kind of creepy, you know. Imagine you're standing on the bus and someone's touching your hand. This one is too short. Nice profile pic, boy. No, this is like a bullying incident. Yeah. Huh, this looks interesting. From Nurin. Nice. Okay, I'm going to just read it out in case some of you are watching this from your very tiny screens, your phone or your iPad or whatever. I leaned against the window as the heat on the glass burned my cheek. It's like how to roast your chick 101. I look around my surroundings and I saw lots of kids playing with their phones, and that's what technology does to us. Exactly. It took us 3 hours to get back home, and suddenly a girl sat next to me. She had curly red locks that looked so pretty that she looked like she was wearing a wig. Does wearing a wig makes you look pretty? Kind of weird. She looked like a young girl, probably younger than me. What are you listening to? She asked, giving a ear-to-ear grin. I took out my headphones and said, oh, just some Japanese music. I really love those kind of songs. We walked on the way to we walked back home, and she told me her name was Angelina. She lived near me and thought that we could be busmates. I grinned widely, and when I got off, I waved her a goodbye and ran back home, excited to meet her the next day. Pretty interesting. I'll vote this as well. So DN, Nurin, you are voted. This is interesting. Nice intro, nice one. This is tough, man. I have difficulty choosing. So I'm going to let you choose this guy. Alan Simmons, nice try. Now, this was a very tough topic. I think, although your topics were very interesting and funny, they were not very, they're not like what I was looking there's not like what, they are not what I'm looking for, sorry. Huh, interesting. I like this. Remy Heng, good job. You seem new. You got a lot of potential. I jostled my way onto the crowded bus. My social life was a mess. It was already nearing graduation, and yet I had not made a single friend for the entire year. Those that caught me looking at the empty seat beside them quickly looked away. Others pretended to sleep. At this moment, my eyes laid on the empty seat beside the notorious school bully Daniel. I shuddered at having the thought of having to sit beside him, but there was no other option left for me. Very interesting. A few logical flaws here, but I'm not going to nitpick. Remy Heng, please take note. What is that? A sports car? Okay, this is weird too. You better, kids, you better pray you don't get this topic for your exams. I wore my gloves and mask as usual. I hop on the bus like every day. I was an essential service worker on the way to FairPrice, my workplace. Yes, cheers to all those working at FairPrice and Sheng Siong. However, one thing I noticed about her, she was also wearing a FairPrice uniform. I turned to the window, looking at the view and the empty street. Suddenly, the girl came to me and asked me shyly if I work at FairPrice. Obviously, if I'm wearing a FairPrice uniform and wandering around, it'd be quite weird if I don't work there. I veered my head to her and nodded politely. Surprisingly, she started talking to me and we became as if we were old friends and we chatted all the way around. Now, Anya, I would love this if you had added in more dialogue, but I'll vote for you. So kids, we're going to vote now. Anya Tan, the FairPrice worker on the bus. Oh, wait, I forgot about this guy. Chok Cheng Xian, you will like this. I stared at the empty seat in disgust. I do not want to sit there, I thought to myself, obviously. Right next to the seat was a fat girl covered in ketchup stains. This is quite an interesting picture. Red goo dripped from her like a slug climbing off her face. When I walked over, she glanced back with a friendly smile at me. I like this. Chok Cheng Xian got my vote. So let's vote. Your vote, okay? Remy Heng, talking about his social life being a mess. No friends until graduation, until like he's about to graduate, still no friends. Remy Heng, talking about his social life being a mess, being forced to make friends with a bully. There are some logical flaws here, but his writing is still better than the others I received. CCX, okay, think of if you want to vote for CCX, he's about the weird girl covered in ketchup stains. I like it because he used a nice simile over here. The ketchup stain was like a slug climbing off her face, and I found it very funny because it makes for a very interesting topic. Westwood Primary School. You probably got a very good teacher there. Enya Tan, about a FairPrice worker. Now, one of the tricks that I teach my students when you want to write a boring topic, change the perspective. So this is what Enya done. She changed the perspective. Instead of writing as a little kid, she wrote as a FairPrice worker. So who will you vote? CCX, Enya, or Remy? Let me know in the comment section below. You can't vote for yourself, kids. Imagine if Donald Trump goes to the polls, I vote for myself. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, CCX wins. Chok Cheng Xian, after this, please send me your address. Okay, I only got about 20 minutes left. Sorry, I took too long with this because there were just so many submissions. Thank you for your submissions. Let's play the game again. Actually, this is quite fun. I'm feeling entertained. Are you entertained? Let's draw. Let's draw. One more. You know, I'll be a very messed up combination. A fun project and a pile of homework. That's like the most boring combination I can think of. A fun project and a pile of homework. Yeah, that's like the most boring topic. You know what's the most difficult one? A fun project and a grandmother. Actually, that's still doable. Yeah, I hope you'll get a super tough one for the next one. Queen. A meaningful conversation. GG.com, children. The good news is this is a topic I came up with. It has not appeared as a school composition topic. Teachers and examiners watching this is an idea for you. Maybe you can test this topic. Give your students a test on this topic next time. A meaningful conversation. It better be meaningful, not like the rubbish you are typing in my chat box right now. Okay. I'm gonna make it difficult. Let's a meaningful conversation and a pair of socks. That would be the worst combination ever. A meaningful conversation and a grandmother would be super meaningful. Like she can talk about World War II and all that stuff. But a meaningful conversation and a pair of socks, that would be the worst combination ever. So are you ready? The last picture you're gonna get for today. No, not a bus again. Sorry, we're gonna skip that. A pair of socks. Okay, so the good news is the examiners won't be so mean to give you something like this for the exams, but the true test of creativity is being able to come up with a very interesting write-up, no matter how boring a topic is. So if you want to be a top writer on Writing Samurai and have your compo featured in our next free model compose ebook, you must be able to you must be able to come up with a story from the most boring scenarios and topics ever. Yeah, I think all the kids are like, no, no, no. A meaningful conversation and a pair of socks. What can one talk about? And to make it harder, you're going to write the conclusion for this. Okay, the conclusion: a meaningful conversation, a pair of socks. And because we have a lack of time, 7 minutes left. Oh, this you're on your own, man. Even I have no ideas about this. Time starts now. 7 minutes starts now. Same thing, send it into my email. Remember, you're writing the conclusion. You must talk about a pair of socks and at least have some dialogue. Five minutes left. Huang Zibot. I like yours. I nominated yours, don't worry. Don't worry, man. Rian, you've done it again. I like what you're writing, Rian. Why are kids emailing me about their girlfriends? Hey kids, you are too young to have girlfriends. Parents, please take note. Some of your kids are emailing me talking about their girlfriends. Two minutes, 30 seconds left. Don't judge the socks by its appearance. That sounds like an idiom. Don't judge a sock by its appearance. 1 minute left. I got a biggest joke, man. This guy is talking about a pair of shoes talking to a pair of socks. This person is the left sock is talking to the right sock. Kids, don't write about socks talking to each other. Okay, that's it. Time's up, kids. If not, Webinar Jam is going to kick me out, and then we won't have a conclusion to this ending. Oh gosh, the event will end in 5 minutes. Sorry, I got to wrap it up. We spent too much time choosing. We'll have a part 2 next week, I promise, okay? Because Webinar Jam is going to kick me out in 5 minutes. I'm going to pick a few, but my screen is so laggy right now. There was one that was quite touching. Rian Core. I think Rian Core is probably the winner for this already. How do I spell Rian? Hang on, let it load. So it goes like this. You all can see, right? Yeah. Granddaughter, this is the sock. She looked at me with doe eyes and stared at the socks. So Rian is writing from the perspective of a grandmother. Then the granddaughter says, Grandma, so this is the pair of socks that the famous soldier wore and walked over the bridge to save his family. I look at her and nodded my head. What a brave and meaningful story, as it has been a decade, she squealed. I wandered outside the window, and the corners of my lips lifted up. Yes, your grandfather is truly a brave man. So over here, right, what she did was she concocted a twist by the saying that the soldier that saved the whole family was actually the grandfather, the person that she was married to. So I think that was pretty interesting. From a simple stinky sock, you can turn it into a meaningful story about, I don't know, World War II. So I would say Rian would be the winner. So this is super creative. Now there were a lot more creative ones that I saw. Like I was chuckling all the way at the things that you are writing. Like Shania's one is interesting as well. You see the pair of socks, they have each other, rely each other. This shows that friends are important. You can count on them at any point in terms of your life. Forgive Leah. So after spilling everything to my mother advised me to forgive Leah. So just saying like, you and your friend are like a pair of socks. You need each other to function. One sock is pretty useless. And yeah, I think Rian's one's the winner. Sorry, we don't have time to vote, and sorry, I can't show you the rest. I think next time I will do less with less introductions and more